the three fundamental laws that we have in our existence as humans. Bro's wearing glasses, he must be the thinker. I wasn't gonna do a video today because this upload is gonna come up on Tuesday, and this is my exam week coming up, so I was thinking, maybe I don't have the time to do this. I was like, nah, you know what? I got the opportunity now, so might as well take it and do it. Anyway, I talked in the last video about the law of manifestation and the law of attraction, I think, and I want to delve in that a little bit more. So, not individually. I feel like I'm gonna make 3 separate videos on the whole situation, where there's 3 like individual videos on each law. But today I wanna talk about basically the fundamentals of it, where you have the law of attraction, you have the law of manifestation, and this is one I haven't talked about before, but it's the law of equivalent exchange. All right. So I'm gonna keep today's video brief. Tell me if you're fucking with the motion. Glasses. Whoa. Normally I wear contacts, but basically, the law of manifestation is essentially, right, if you manifest something, if you believe in something, it's basically the principle: if you believe, you'll achieve, right? So if you believe that something's gonna get done, oh man, you see the reflection, I might just have to take it off. Right. It's just the principle that if you believe, you'll achieve, right? So if you think that you can get something done, you just manifest it into existence. So it's direct correlation between what you believe and it manifesting into reality. So what you think will manifest itself into being. That's the law of manifestation. So for example, right, I'm going to use exam context right now because that's what's relevant to me at my current stage in life, at this current stage and time, if anything, to be fair. But it can be applied to anything. So I'm going to manifest. So I'm thinking, I'm reversing hello, so I'm going to get like 3 A stars or whatever. Bless. I'm manifesting those 3 A stars in my head, and then in turn, when I've done my exam, I get my results back in a few weeks. Boom, 3 A stars. What? That's essentially the law of manifestation. That's like a watered down version, but that's not like saying just because you believed it's gonna happen. You obviously need to put in the inputs to get the output. You can't just expect without doing anything. But yeah, manifest. If you believe, you'll achieve. That brings me on to number 2, the law of attraction. The law of attraction is basically you attract what you are, in a sense. So you get what you put out in the world, is what I'm trying to say. I feel like it's Alex Hormozi. I'm always talking about this guy. It's like I'm on this guy's dick, if anything. But yeah, I'm telling you, he's actually an idol. But he says you don't get what you are in life, or you don't get what you want in life. You get what you are, and that's essentially what the principle of the law of attraction is. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. It sort of contradicts the law of manifestation, but in my philosophy, the two go hand in hand. So whereas in the law of manifestation, you think something and it manifests itself into existence, the law of attraction is sort of you think something and something of a equivalent caliber comes to you, in a sense. I don't know how to explain that. Throwback to one of my older videos in terms of putting out hate or putting out love in the world. If you put out hate, in turn you will receive hate. If you put out love, in turn you will receive love. In layman's terms, it's karma, essentially. Kismet. If you put out something in the world, it comes back to you. So you need to be careful with what you put out, and you need to be intentional with what you put out. Because if you put out bullshit in the world, that's all you're going to receive in your life, bullshit. But if you put out love, if you put out care, if you put out genuine affection, generosity, compassion, all of that, it's going to come back to you tenfold. That is what the law of attraction essentially is. So the law of manifestation is manifesting something that you want into existence. Your thoughts being manifested into existence because you've convinced yourself it's going to happen, and therefore it happens. The law of attraction is whatever you put out in the world, it comes back to you. So if someone's wronged you, you shouldn't be out there wronging them. because they'll receive what they receive in due course. And you might not be aware of what happens to them, but that's between them and that's between the world, or God if you believe in God. But that's between them and their world, their God. Whatever happens to them, happens to them. It's none of your business. Number 3, there's one that I haven't talked about on things, the law of equivalent exchange. You cannot, actually I think I have talked about this, but you cannot replace something with nothing. The law of equivalent exchange essentially states that, you need to be comfortable with letting go. If you want something, you cannot keep living the way that you are, because if you do, then there's no room in your life to get that thing that you want. It's really simple principle, but it's literally just that, the law of equivalent exchange. You have to give something up of equivalent value to gain something that you want that is the equivalent value. Now, it can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing that you're giving up, but it's many things that we give up. And it's important to recognize that in the act of giving up, we shouldn't give up ourselves and our concept of ourselves. So if I want to talk about, I want to bring this back to revision again. Law of equivalent exchange. I want 3 A stars. What do I give up? Well, I have to quit doom scrolling. I have to quit calling my friends for copious amount of hours playing 8 Ball Fool. I need a cool. I didn't need to, but I chose to just take a little break from the gym for a week. But that's the thing. I took a break so I could allow myself more time to study. That's the law of equivalent exchange. Giving up something in order to gain something else. Opportunity cost. It's the finest example of opportunity cost. So if anyone's doing economics or business studies out there, opportunity cost is essentially what the law of equivalent exchange is. Now, I gave up some good things, some bad things. Contrary to popular belief, some may believe that going to the gym is a good thing. What? Never heard of it. But yeah, you can give up good things, you can give up bad things. Doom scrolling is obviously a bad thing, and I'm glad to have given that up to allow myself more time to work. Am I so happy on taking a pause from the gym for a week? No, not really. But that is what the law of equivalent exchange is. You have to give something up to gain something in return. Letting go of people is another great example. Like, let's say you are in a situation where you're not valued or respected. You have to let yourself go from that situation to gain your respect back. The equivalent exchange is that you give up this person that you have an emotional attachment to that is hurting you, and what you gain is your self-respect and yourself. So I'd argue that that is an equivalent exchange, but it's obviously that yourself is more higher value than this person. That being said, those are my three rules of life. I don't know if I need to delve in further for each individual law. I suppose I could, but it would more or less just be a recap of what I've said in previous videos. To recap, the law of manifestation, you get what you believe. The law of attraction, you get what you are. And the law of equivalent exchange, you get what you give up. If you'd like me to, I could do an in-depth video on each of them, but like I've said, I've already sort of done all of them, because the law of manifestation just ties in to whether you believe you'll achieve it. The law of attraction just ties in with the principle of giving out hate, giving out love, and karma. And the law of equivalent exchange is just that you have to love yourself enough to let go. And holding on is what makes it hurt. That's the one. I can't forget my own videos. But yeah, that being said, those are my 3 laws of life. Please, if you have any questions, drop them below. If you want me to make in-depth videos, I'm more than happy to do that. It might be recapping a little bit on previous ideas, but that's no problem with me. Wasn't going to make a video today, but I did because I love you guys. More importantly, I love my routine, love my schedule. So it wouldn't hurt to just hop on here for 9 minutes, 31 seconds and do what I'm doing. The glasses did not bang. I tried doing like Chris Hemsworth hairstyle, and then I realized I looked like a goofball, so I just tied my hair back up to a bun. That's all. Love you guys. Short one today. Peace. Take care.